62%. That's the number that stopped me cold. 62% of small business owners miss at least one customer call a day because they are too busy actually doing the work they were hired to do. And according to data compiled from IBI's World and Small Business Industry Reports published in 2025, every single one of those missed calls represents an average of $250 in lost revenue. This problem is decades old. Your grandfather probably dealt with it when he was running his hardware store or plumbing route. And believe it or not, today, fixing this exact problem is quietly feeding a growing group of operators who are making more than $150,000 a year without hiring a single human employee. After reviewing hundreds of business models and real operator stories, it became obvious that the most profitable businesses are often the most invisible. You probably know someone who never talks about money, never shows off, but whenever they need it, the money's always there. Their secret is a business that sounds incredibly boring. The model we're looking at today generates more wealth than almost any trendy SaaS startup, and it's hiding in plain sight. My name is George. Let's get into it. Let's start with something you see every day and never think about. You call a local roofer, a boutique fitness studio, or an independent pharmacy. It rings 3 times, and then it goes to a generic voicemail. Hi, you've reached Joe's Roofing. Leave a message. What happens next? You hang up, and you call the next roofer on Google. Joe just lost a $15,000 roof replacement because he was on a ladder and couldn't answer his phone. Now, imagine Joe hires a receptionist. That's $35,000 to $45,000 a year, plus payroll taxes, plus benefits, plus sick days. It's a massive expense for a small shop. This is the exact pain point where the small shop AI customer service agent provider steps in. This is a business where you build, deploy, and manage AI voice agents and chatbots specifically tailored for local service businesses. Let's do the simple math. If you have 15 local business clients paying you a retainer of $800 a month each to handle all their missed calls, fax, and appointment bookings automatically, you're already generating $12,000 a month in recurring revenue. But here's what nobody tells you. You are not selling AI if you walk into a local HVAC business and try to sell them an artificial intelligence large language model voice agent. You will get thrown out of the office. What you are actually selling is booked appointments and recovered revenue. You are selling the fact that when Joe is on a ladder, a pleasant, hyper-realistic voice answers the phone on the first ring, answers questions about pricing and availability, and directly books an estimate into Joe's calendar. The revenue model here is beautifully unglamorous. Setup fees typically range from $500 to $2,500, depending on the complexity of the client's existing software stack. But the real wealth is built in the monthly recurring revenue. Monthly retainers range from $300 to $1,500 per client. And the cost to you? The API costs for platforms like Vapi, Retell, or Bland AI run at literally pennies per minute. Your hard costs might be $40 to $70 a month per client. The margins are consistently between 85% and 92%. There's a pattern here that repeats across the most successful modern businesses. The boring factor is the advantage. Nobody's competing with you because nobody thinks setting up call, routing for a local pest control company is exciting enough to try. All the smart tech guys are trying to build the next massive software platform, fighting over microscopic margins in crowded markets. Meanwhile, a guy setting up simple AI agents for 20 local plumbers is quietly pulling in $20,000 a month. Let me be honest with you for a moment. Was reading a thread on the sweaty startup community on Reddit recently. A guy was talking about his AI automation agency. He started by trying to build complex custom chatbot solutions for big e-commerce brands. He spent months on proposals, faced endless scope creep, and ended up working 80 hours a week for effectively minimum wage. Then he pivoted. He stopped doing custom work. he productized his service. He built one specific workflow, an AI voice agent that integrates with a common scheduling software used by home service businesses. He stopped selling features and started selling the outcome. He now has a roster of local clients paying him $500 a month for peace of mind. He built the system once, and he replicates it over and over. Think about it like you're a kid. It's the difference between shoveling driveways by hand every time it snows, versus building an automated snow melting mat and renting it out to homeowners every winter. You build the asset once, and it pays you repeatedly. This model requires almost zero startup capital. The barrier to entry is extremely low. You don't need a massive warehouse, you don't need delivery trucks. You don't need inventory that rots or expires. All you need is a laptop, internet access, and the willingness to learn how to connect APIs using platforms like Make or Zapier. And here's the part nobody mentions. The retention rate is incredibly high. Once a small business integrates your AI agent into their daily workflow, once they see that it's actively booking appointments and saving them from hiring a full-time receptionist, it becomes a utility. It becomes as essential as their electricity or internet bill. They will not cancel it. The author of the E-Myth Revisited talks about the difference between working in your business and working on your business. Most local business owners are trapped working in their business. They are the technician. By providing them with an AI receptionist, you are giving them the leverage they desperately need to step back and work on their business. You become the indispensable partner that facilitates their growth. Before we get to the final pattern and the part that took Michael from extra income to complete financial freedom, let's look at how this exact same model adapts to different, boring industries. Think about independent property management companies. These are the people managing 50 to 200 rental units. Their biggest expense and biggest headache is maintenance coordination. A tenant calls at 2 a.m. because a pipe burst. The property manager is asleep. If they don't answer, the property gets destroyed. If they hire a 24/7 answering service, they pay $2 to $3 per minute, which destroys their margins. Enter the AI agent. You build a voice agent specifically trained on the property manager's emergency protocols. The tenant calls. The AI answers immediately. It asks 3 qualifying questions to determine if it's a real emergency or just a dripping faucet. If it's a dripping faucet, it logs a ticket in their system and tells the tenant maintenance will call during business hours. If it's a burst pipe, the AI instantly triggers an automated workflow that dispatches the on-call emergency plumber and texts the property manager. Let's do the simple math again. A property management company will easily pay $1,500 a month for this because it replaces a $4,000 a month call center bill. You onboard 10 property managers. That is $15,000 a month in recurring revenue for a system that costs you maybe $200 in API credits to run. The margin is absurd because you are replacing human labor with infinitely scalable software. And if this already made sense to you, wait until you see what's coming. Because there are others that are solid, but they play a completely different game. Let's look at medical spas and boutique dental offices. These businesses have incredibly high customer lifetime values. A single dental implant patient is worth $3,000 to $5,000. But the front desk staff is often overwhelmed, dealing with insurance questions and basic scheduling. You go to the dentist. You don't sell an AI. You sell a patient reactivation system. You connect an AI text agent to their existing patient database. The AI silently texts patients who haven't been in for a cleaning in over a year. Hi Sarah, it's been a while since your last checkup with Dr. Smith. We have an opening next Tuesday at 2 p.m. Would you like me to book that for you? The AI handles the entire back and forth conversation, overcomes basic objections, and drops the appointment directly into the calendar. The dentist wakes up to a full schedule. They will gladly pay you $1,000 a month plus a setup fee. because you just generated $10,000 in appointments they would have never captured otherwise. You are essentially printing money for them. Here's the trick YouTube gurus never explain. They tell you to go after e-commerce brands or high-tech startups. That is a bloodbath. You are competing with thousands of other agencies. The real money is in the businesses that still use filing cabinets and have a receptionist named Barb who hates computers. When you bring 2026 technology to a business operating like it's 1998, you look like a wizard. I was reading another case study from a real operator who specialized exclusively in the pest control niche. Pest control is extremely seasonal. In the spring, the phones ring off the hook. The companies can't answer them fast enough, and people just call the next guy on the list because they want the wasps gone today. This operator built an AI voice agent that only does one thing. It quotes and books wasp and ant removal services. That's it. It doesn't handle billing. It doesn't handle complaints. It just quotes and books. He licenses this exact same agent to 40 different pest control companies across the country. Because they are in different states, they don't compete with each other. He built it once, and he gets paid 40 times every single month. That is the entire point of this business model. You are not a consulting agency. You are a software-as-a-service company where you happen to do the onboarding manually. Let's be honest for a moment. Setting this up is going to be frustrating at first. You will spend hours staring at Zapier errors. You will have to test the voice agent 100 times because it keeps mispronouncing the client's name. It takes discipline. But nobody wants to push through that frustration. That's exactly why it pays. The businesses that are the most mentally uncomfortable to set up initially are usually the ones that pay you the longest. But let's look at the operational reality. It's not entirely passive. You have to monitor the transcripts initially. You have to tweak the prompts. The AI agent starts hallucinating or giving out the wrong pricing. That's on you. The community consensus is very clear. You must ensure transparency. You have to program the agent to admit it's an AI assistant if asked, and you must build a seamless escalation path to a real human if the customer gets frustrated or has a complex issue. The hybrid model is what wins. The AI handles 80% of the routine inquiries or pricing. Policies and routes the 20% of high-value or complex calls directly to the business owner's cell phone. Does that sound exaggerated to you? Wait until you hear what's coming next, because the technology is only getting cheaper and more accessible. In a few years, an AI voice agent won't be a luxury for a local business. It will be an absolute requirement to stay competitive. The businesses that adopt it early will capture all the leads their competitors miss, and the people who set those systems up will capture a massive percentage of that new value. This ties into a concept from the book Buy Then Build. The core thesis is about acquiring existing cash flow rather than starting from absolute zero. When you partner with an existing, profitable local business, you are essentially plugging into their established cash flow. You don't have to go find the customers who need plumbing repair. The plumber already has the marketing in place. You are just optimizing the funnel. You are fixing the leaky bucket. Ask yourself first whether a business model pays you once or pays you every month. When you do a website redesign for a client, you get paid once. You have to constantly hunt for the next project. When you install an AI customer service agent, you get paid every single month for as long as that business operates. You are building an annuity. Let's explore another massive, completely unglamorous sector where this model is quietly printing money: the local accounting and tax preparation industry. Imagine a boutique CPA firm during tax season, specifically between February and April. The phones ring literally every 3 minutes with clients asking the exact same questions. Did you receive my W-2? What's the status of my return? Can you send me a copy of last year's filing? The senior accountants, the people who actually generate the firm's revenue, end up spending 40% of their day answering these low-value administrative questions. You build an AI voice and text agent specifically trained on the firm's client portal protocols. When a client calls, the AI answers, verifies their identity using the last 4 digits of their Social Security number, and securely checks the CRM to give them real-time status updates on their tax return. If the client needs a document, the AI triggers an automated email with a secure link. The simple math here is staggering. A CPA firm will gladly pay $2,000 for the setup and a $1,200 monthly retainer for this system, because it allows their accountants to focus purely on billable hours. If you onboard just 8 CPA firms, you have nearly $10,000 in monthly recurring revenue. And the best part? During the off-season, the system just runs quietly in the background, scheduling quarterly tax reviews. The retention rate in the financial sector is almost 100% because once a CPA firm relies on your system during tax season, the idea of going back to answering manual phone calls is terrifying to them. Or consider the landscaping and hardscaping industry. A single hardscaping project, installing a patio, or retaining wall costs between $15,000 and $40,000. These are extremely high-ticket, high-margin jobs, but landscaping business owners spend their days in the dirt, driving loud diesel trucks and operating heavy machinery. When a homeowner calls to get an estimate for a $30,000 patio, the call goes to a full voicemail box. You step in with an AI voice agent trained specifically to qualify hardscaping leads. The AI answers the call over the noise of the machinery. It asks the homeowner 3 critical questions. What is the square footage of the space? Are you looking for concrete, pavers, or natural stone? And what is your budget range for this project? Gathers this information, scores the lead, and instantly books a site visit on the business owner's calendar for Saturday morning. You are not selling an AI chatbot. You are selling a system that captures $30,000 leads that would have otherwise gone to a competitor. You charge a $1,000 setup fee and a $600 monthly retainer. The hardscape company owner views your $600 fee as the cost of securing a single $30,000 contract. It's a rounding error to them, and for you, it's high-margin recurring cash flow. Here is what most people don't realize about selling these systems. The psychology of a small business owner is entirely different from the psychology of a Silicon Valley tech founder. A tech founder wants features. A small business owner wants time and peace of mind. When you go into a pitch, you don't talk about large language models. You don't talk about latency or token limits. You talk about Barb, the receptionist who quit last week, and how your system will never call in sick, never ask for a raise, and never take a smoke break. You are selling absolute operational reliability. This brings us to the actual fulfillment and scaling of the agency. Most people start this business and immediately build a massive bottleneck themselves. They customize every single prompt, every single integration, and every single webhook for each new client. They turn what should be a highly scalable software business into a low-paying consulting job. The people who scale this past $50,000 a month do something very boring and very disciplined. They pick one specific CRM, let's say Jobber, which is massively popular in the home service industry, and they build the ultimate AI agent for Jobber. They map out the API connections once. They perfect the appointment booking flow once. Then, they only prospect and sell to businesses that already use Jobber. The onboarding process, which used to take 3 weeks, now takes 45 minutes. They simply duplicate the make.com scenario, plug in the client's API keys, and update the business name and pricing sheet. Think about it like manufacturing. You are moving away from being a custom tailor who measures and stitches every suit by hand, and you are becoming an assembly line. The product is standardized, the delivery is predictable, and the margins expand aggressively with every new client you add to the roster. Let's do the math on the scaling phase. Once you have the standardized Jobber template built, you hire a virtual assistant in the Philippines for $6 an hour. Their only job is to scrape a list of local plumbing and HVAC companies. Cross-reference their websites to see if they use the Jobber client portal and send a cold email offering a free custom AI voice demo. When a prospect replies, you jump on a 15-minute Zoom call. Play them a recording of the II booking a plumbing appointment and close the deal. You are completely removed from the technical delivery. You are now just managing the machine. And the lifetime value of these clients is immense. Because you are embedded into their scheduling software, the switching cost is painful. If they cancel your service, they don't just lose an AI agent. They suddenly have to figure out who is going to answer the 40 calls a day that your system was handling. The pain of disconnecting your service is far greater than the pain of paying your $500 monthly invoice. This model is the ultimate bridge between high-tech leverage and unsexy, real-world utility. You are taking the most advanced technology in the world, technology that billions of dollars are being poured into by Google, Microsoft, and OpenAI. You are pointing it at the most mundane, frustrating problem a local roofing contractor has. That delta, that gap between advanced technology and boring utility, is where the maximum profit margin exists. Let's look at a two-person comparison. Let's look at David and Michael. David wants to start an AI business. He spends 6 months trying to build a proprietary new language model wrapper. He wants to sell it to Fortune 500 companies. He burns through his savings, faces massive corporate sales cycles, and eventually gives up because he can't compete with the giants. Michael takes a different approach. Michael spends a weekend learning how to use Vappy and Make.com. On Monday, he walks into 5 local auto repair shops. He says, "I noticed you didn't answer when I called yesterday. I can set up a system that answers every call immediately and books oil changes straight into your calendar. It costs a fraction of what a receptionist costs." 3 of them say yes. Michael sets them up. He charges $1,000 for the setup and $400 a month for maintenance. Michael didn't invent anything new. He just applied existing technology to a very boring, very painful local problem. Today, Michael manages 40 clients and plays golf on Thursdays. None of this is brilliant. All of it is consistent. The money isn't hiding in the exciting ideas. It never was. It's hiding in the boring ones that nobody else wants to do. The businesses that are the most unglamorous are usually the least competitive. Someone's missed phone call is literally your income. When I first started studying business, I was also looking for the genius idea. I wanted the shiny new thing. But the uncomfortable truth is that wealth is built through compounding boring actions over a long period of time. The question isn't which of these AI tools is best. The question is, which local business can you help with what you have right now? Hit that like button. It helps a lot. Subscribe if you want us to keep talking about real money and business strategies. Tell me in the comments which part of this model surprised you the most. I'm George, and I'll see you in the next video.